Now you've got to be a really brave interior designer to use black on your ceilings and on the walls. What am I doing in this room? Where am I? What property am I in? Welcome to Property Investing with Abby. On today's episode, I want to show you one of the properties that I offered on this time last year. So many people tell me they want to do property investing, they'd love to do what I do, and then they do nothing about it. In fact, I got so many people ask me this question, I started to tell them all the same, that there's no point in wishing for it, you need to get started now. So I want to talk about what happened if you, last year, had invested £10,000 in your education. That's kind of the average our students invest in themselves. I've lost count of the amount of money I've spent on my personal development. It's my knowledge and the education that's helped me get my entire property portfolio. So this time last year, I didn't understand that there was going to be inflation, interest rates rise and a recession come in. But I didn't need to understand that. All I knew is the more I invest in property, the better I'm going to be. So this time last year, I saw this property advertised. Now it was very unusual because this was stuck on the market. And this time last year, which would have been 2021, coming out of COVID and being locked down, people were buying property and stuff was getting snapped up all over the place. This property is in Kendal, Lake District, and honestly, properties would go on and they'd be off in a matter of days, but this property didn't, this stayed on, which attracted my attention, which meant there must be something putting people off. So I came down and viewed the property. The first thing that puts people off about this property is it's right next door to a big static caravan park, a holiday park. So it would put you off if this was going to be your main permanent home, but it only made me want this house more. Because for me, holiday park, this is a big tick in the box for serviced accommodation and I want to use it as a holiday home. So talking about education and knowledge and the importance of it, I've got a free gift to get you started. I've got this free for you guys. So this is my mentor. This is the guy, Paul Smith, that I learn everything that I know about property, that's enabled me to build my portfolio and not worry about the cost of living crisis because I've got enough money coming in. It's this guy that changed my life. Click the link below, download his book and read it. Honestly, it's the best place to get started. And that's from me to you. So I saw this property's potential to be used as a holiday home. I mean, just look at this. There is a running brook outside here. It is perfectly set up. It's 5 bedrooms, sleeps 10, got a huge massive garage that I knew I could use for a games room, got the cinema room. It ticked all of my boxes, but it was putting everybody else off because of the caravan site. So this was owned by 2 dentists. So what we did is we negotiated and we managed to get it about 10 grand under what they wanted for it. And that was, they'd already put it on the market and reduced it once. So that was the second reduction for us to buy it. But I did the calculations and knew this property would make great money as a holiday let. So this property is probably going to make about 80,000. And I got Sykes and Cottages.com to quote me. They said between 80 and 120,000 this one property would make each season as we rent it for holiday guests. The best thing about this property though is with it being next to the caravan park, I did check with the local authority about the planning use class for it. As you know, there's been loads of stuff in the media about people in holiday, destinations in the country. The villagers are upset because a lot of the properties being taken off the market and used as holiday homes. So I wanted to make sure that I future-proofed this property. So we contacted local council and they were more than happy with us running it as a holiday home because of the big commercial park around us. So again, a big tick for me. So we offered on this property and it took us until the end of February 2022 to buy it because the owners, the dentists, were very, very busy, didn't have a lot of time. They hadn't found their perfect home yet. And I didn't want to push them. I wanted to work with them because it's got to be a win-win. I wanted them to go on to have a nice house so we could take this. And I knew I wanted to get it ready for the 2022 season, so February was ideal. As you can see, it didn't need a lot of work doing to it. So all we did was a bit of decorating and put the furniture in place. So this property was ready for Easter 2022 and welcomed its first guests. The moral of this YouTube is, don't wait, just get started and make sure to invest in your education and knowledge. So if you'd have invested £10,000 last year in your education and knowledge, you'd have been able to put together and structure property deals like this. This is going to make about £80,000 net profit. Cost of living crisis, inflation, recession. You know, I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but this is going to replace that for me. So I don't have to worry and I don't have to cut back. The biggest problem we have right now with people's mindsets is instead of thinking about creating more money, they're too busy trying to cut back and cut corners. I know a lot of people that'll watch this YouTube and think, oh, I can do what Abby does. I'm just going to go and get a property and make it into a holiday let. There's so many regulations, planning, structural financially, so you don't have a whacking massive tax bill. There's capital allowances with this. You really need the education and knowledge, and it is so short-sighted when people don't invest in themselves. So what would have happened if you'd have invested in yourself last year? Stuff like this, and you wouldn't be worried about the cost of living crisis and recession. Moral of the story, get started and do it now. So when you're running holiday homes, and I run quite a few, you do run into trouble. There's no two ways about it. So let me tell you a little bit about what's happened here. So we struggle to find really good housekeepers here. We need a housekeeper to come, clean once the guests have gone, change the bed linen, the towels, put the welcome pack out, keep on top of the maintenance, make sure the gardener's doing his job, and just keep their eye and look after the property. We struggled to find somebody, so the company that we use in other parts of the Lake District said, well, we'll look after it, and they've outsourced it out to a different supplier. That supplier has been saying they've cleaned it when they haven't, and people have been rocking up to it unclean, which is a nightmare for my reviews. The other thing they did is they nicked 11 bottles of champagne that we put in the cupboard. It's a cleaner's cupboard and it's locked. Only the cleaner has the key, and 11 bottles of champagne have gone missing. Never mind, these things happen, but this is why you need the education and knowledge, because I know what to do, how to put the checks in place to know that 11 bottles are missing, and to tell the cleaning company that I'm going to invoice them for them, or please can you replace them. That's it for me here in the beautiful Kendal at Millbrook Lodge, property investing with Abby. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and tell me what you would do if your cleaners nicked 11 bottles of champagne. And I'll see you next time.